Another thing as well which we'll see now is the inject function. And this is where we can fold elements of a collection successively to resolve effectively down into one single element or value at the end. So let's take a look at this now. Let's suppose we have a list of numbers again, and we want to sum these numbers. We could, by the way, just use the built-in function sum, which will give us 15. And by the way as well, we also have min, which gives us the minimum number, and max, which gives a maximum number 2. So Groovy also offers these kind of like aggregate functions, if you will, which will take the whole set of numbers and resolve down to some single element based on whether you want to find the minimum, maximum, or the sum. Let's just see how we can do this using inject. So to do this, we do l.inject, and what we do is we have to pass the first value in the injection, which for here we'll just say is 0, and then we effectively give a recurrence relation in a closure. So a recurrence relation is basically where we're defining one element in terms of another element, possibly multiple other elements. So what we're going to do here is we're going to add 1 to 2, which would give 3, and then for that 3 we're going to add 3, which would give 6, and for that 6 we add 4, which gives 10, and for that 10 we add 5, which would give 15. So in other words, we're kind of accumulating this result with each iteration of the loop. So it's almost like calculating a running total. And therefore, the first number that we pass in, which is 0, into the inject function, that's kind of like the starting running total, if you like, or the starting sum so far, if you will. So the current sum is the first argument of the closure, and the next argument is the actual element itself, which is e. And if I just put some white space here, the expression in here is going to evaluate to the new sum, so that is going to be sum plus e, which makes sense. So now if we execute this, we can see that we get the number 15. And now that we know how that works, we could collapse that all onto one line to make it a little tidier. We could change this to not just implement sum though, we could change it to implement the max. So here, the current maximum is 0. That's this idea of this running total or running maximum, I guess in this case. And then for the element, what we need to do is to basically return the maximum of either the current maximum and the current element. So if we execute this, we should see it turns 5, which it does, it returns 5. And if we had 13 in here, for example, in the middle, then we get 13. So that's the inject function, which enables us to reduce a collection down to a single element, which is sometimes useful, if a little tricky to get your head around at first. But as soon as you get the hang of this recurrence relation, the fact that you're using the previous element, or the element of the previous iterations run, with the current iterations run, as soon as you get your head around that, then you should be able to use the inject function with ease.